At the far edge of an abandoned town stood a house marked number 27, a place no one dared to approach after a string of disappearances that began more than 30 years ago. Everyone who lived nearby knew the one rule that must never be broken. Never go near the back door, no matter what you hear. Legends claimed that the back door, made of rotting black wood, could not be opened from the outside. But from the inside, it opened on its own. Always at the same hour of the night, when the temperature suddenly dropped and the wind shifted into whisper-like voices that almost made sense. One night, a young man named Adam decided to break that rule after his friends dared him to prove the stories were nothing but old myths. He brought a small flashlight, a camera, and typed a message on his phone. 5 minutes inside. If anything happens, call the police. What Adam didn't know was that the last person who attempted the same thing had been found only through the phone he left behind on the doorstep. The phone was placed neatly in front of the back door, and the door itself was wide open, as if inviting him in. As Adam approached the house, something disturbed him deeply. A dim light in the upper window was flickering like a heartbeat. Slow at first, then faster, then stopping entirely. Worse yet, he heard footsteps inside. Heavy steps that didn't sound like one person. It felt as if something was waiting for him. Something that already knew he was coming, and knew his name. When he finally placed his hand on the rusty door handle, a wave of warmth spread through his skin despite the freezing air. Then suddenly, a whisper brushed against his ear. "Come in. We've been waiting for you." Adam pushed the back door gently, and it swung open with a slow, aching creak, as if the house itself exhaled after decades of holding its breath. The moment he stepped inside, the air changed, felt heavier, thicker, almost alive. Dust floated in the narrow beam of his flashlight, moving strangely, swirling in unnatural patterns, as though reacting to his presence. The wooden floor beneath him groaned, but the sound didn't echo like normal footsteps. Instead, it seemed to travel ahead of him, as though something unseen was walking deeper into the house, leading him. His camera light flickered, struggling to stay on. He tapped it, and for a split second, he caught a glimpse of a shadow at the end of the corridor, tall, still, and facing him. But when he lifted the camera again, the shadow was gone. A faint whisper drifted from upstairs. Not words, more like a breath forming syllables it hadn't learned yet. Adam swallowed hard but kept walking. He had promised himself not to panic. The hallway was lined with old portraits, priests, nuns, and long-forgotten families. But something was wrong with their eyes. The paint around their faces had peeled only in the eye area, exposing raw canvas beneath, making every figure appear blind, or watching him without pupils. Just as he reached the foot of the staircase, his phone vibrated violently in his pocket. A notification, but there was no signal here. He pulled out the phone. The screen showed a single message: "Don't follow the footsteps."
Adam froze.
Because he hadn't heard footsteps until now. From the top of the stairs, slow, deliberate steps began descending toward him, one by one, each louder than the last. And the worst part? There was no one on the staircase. Adam's first steps inside felt like crossing an invisible threshold. The air smelled of old paper and rain, with a metallic tang beneath it that made the back of his throat prickle. He swept the flashlight down the hallway. Doors stood half open, curtains hung like frozen ghosts, and wallpaper peeled into long strips that fluttered though there was no breeze. On a small table sat a stack of yellowed newspapers tightly bound with twine. The top headline, dated decades earlier, read, "Family of 4 vanishes from number 27. His breath hitched as he noticed childish drawings pinned to the wall near the staircase. Crayon sketches of a house with a wide, black door. One drawing had the figure of a child standing outside, a crooked smile drawn in heavy black wax. In the margin someone had written, in tiny neat letters, "He waits when the door opens from within." He followed the hallway into a parlor coated in dust. A moth-eaten armchair faced a cold fireplace. Above the mantel hung a faded portrait of a woman. Her face blurred by time, but her eyes seemed unervingly clear, as if painted with a purpose. Tucked behind the portrait was a small leather-bound journal. Adam hesitated only a second before sliding a finger under the cover and pulling it free. The handwriting inside was cramped, hurried, and smeared in places, as if written by someone who paused in terror. The first entry read, "We built the door to keep something out. It demanded a door that opens from the inside, and we obliged. Tonight the wind learned to speak our names." The next line bore a date exactly 31 years ago. A soft creak from upstairs made him freeze. The journal slipped from his hand, falling open to a page with a single sentence scrawled across it in thicker ink. "Do not let it know your name." Adam's pulse ratcheted. He flipped through more pages. The journal was a patchwork of frantic notes, sketches of the back door, and lists of names. Names crossed out, names circled. One entry explained a ritual the family had used when the voices started. They would light 3 candles at midnight, speak into the wood, and admit the house one name each night to satisfy whatever lived behind the walls. The handwriting grew sloppier with each entry, and margins were filled with desperate pleas. "No more names. It learns." He realized with cold clarity that the flickering light he'd seen in the upstairs window was not a malfunction. It was deliberate, some internal clock or signal, an indication of the hour the door would be vulnerable. The journal mapped times: 2:13, 3:07, 4:01, times repeated across months. Each time had a scribble beside it, "Open from within." A low hum began to slip along the floorboards beneath his feet, a resonance he felt more than heard. The air around him compressed like the closing of a fist. Adam imagined the family, night after night, whispering names into the wood until their tongues grew raw. He thought of the crooked child in the drawing. He thought of the neat handwriting that warned him. He pocketed the journal and moved toward the staircase, every muscle taut. As he crested the first step, the house seemed to inhale. A breeze, warm and smelling faintly of old smoke, brushed his neck. On the landing above, a door that had been shut swung open with silent precision. The same dim light pulsed once, like an answering heartbeat. He could go. He could run back to his car, call his friends, and leave the house to whatever it held. Instead, against the itch of every survival instinct, Adam climbed. On the second landing, the corridor narrowed, and the wallpaper's floral pattern seemed to lean inward like a crowd. The temperature dropped sharply. Adam's breath fogged white. He kept his hand on the journal in his pocket as if it were an anchor. At the far end of the hall stood a small wooden door, different from the back door outside, battered but sealed with a padlock. A child's scrawl had been carved into its frame. "Do not wake the door." He took another step. From below, the back door slammed shut as if by a gust. The sound reverberated through the house, folding into itself. Adam's heart pounded. He turned to see the house's windows trap the moonlight into slits. Everything outside the panes looked flattened, like a photo left in water too long. He realized, with growing dread, that he was no longer simply inside a house. He was inside something that expected him. A soft tapping began at the small door, once, twice, measured and immovable. Then a whisper threaded through the boards, almost intelligible. "Name." Adam's mouth went dry. He understood in a flash what the journal meant. Names were the currency here. If the house asked, it wanted one to pay. He swallowed and tried to think of anything. His alias, a childhood nickname. Anything less true, anything the house might not know. The tapping increased, impatient now. The lock on the small door began to rattle as if something on the other side pulled at it. Adam stepped back, fumbling for his phone, hand shaking. It showed no signal. The battery was dwindling, and the flashlight app flickered. The house seemed to move closer still. Shadows pooled at his feet and stretched upward like fingers. He took a step toward the stairs, resolving to flee. Before he could, a voice, soft, layered with others, whispered behind him exactly one name: Adam. Every rational thought in his head shattered. The hallway blurred. The tapping stopped. The small door's lock clicked once like a verdict. Adam froze as the whispering grew into guttural murmurs. From the shadows at the end of the hallway, something moved. a shape barely visible but undeniably there. It emerged slowly, a figure cloaked in darkness, its face obscured, but long, spindly fingers reached toward him with unnatural agility. The small wooden door behind it rattled violently, as if whatever lived beyond it wanted to break free. Adam stumbled back, dropping the journal. The figure lunged. He saw its eyes, two molten spheres glowing with a red-orange intensity, staring straight into his soul. A low growl vibrated through the floorboards, and then, with terrifying speed, it surged forward. Adam barely had time to lift the flashlight. The beam caught the edges of a jagged, metallic object in its hands, a shard of wood, sharpened like a knife. He swung the flashlight at it blindly. The creature hissed, a sound like tearing cloth, and the shard slashed across the floor inches from his foot. Adam scrambled over fallen furniture, trying to reach the stairs, but the creature moved faster, closing the distance with every step. Its footsteps made no sound yet created a deep, pounding vibration through the house, echoing inside Adam's chest. He reached the base of the stairs and glanced back. The creature paused, cocking its head like a predator savoring the hunt. Its mouth opened slightly, too wide, revealing rows of uneven, sharpened teeth. Adam realized the legends were true. This thing was born from the house, a predator formed from decades of fear and blood. He leaped toward the stairs, heart hammering, the creature lunging again, and something wet and sticky brushed his arm. He didn't stop to see if it was blood, sweat, or something else. The hunt had begun, and he was the prey. Adam scrambled up the stairs two at a time, the creature snapping at his heels with impossible speed. Its claws scraped the banister, sending splinters flying like deadly shrapnel. He could feel the heat of its presence behind him, a suffocating wave of rage and hunger that seemed to warp the very air. Reaching the second-floor landing, Adam slammed into a closed door, forcing it open. He ducked inside a small study room filled with dusty books and overturned furniture. His flashlight flickered wildly, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. He tried to steady his breath, but the pounding footsteps were coming up the stairs faster than he could run. Through the cracked window, moonlight illuminated something terrifying. The creature's elongated shadow stretching across the landing, claws scraping the floor, and its eyes, two burning orbs that never blinked, focused solely on him. The creature's mouth opened, releasing a howl that reverberated through the house, rattling the glass. Adam stumbled over a chair, knocking over a heavy bookshelf, and the creature shrieked in fury, its clawed hands pounding the floor in frustration. Adam grabbed a heavy metal candlestick from a table and swung it with all his strength. The creature staggered but did not fall. It advanced again, faster, snapping its teeth. The room smelled of decay, iron, and something ancient, like old blood mixed with soot. Adam realized he could not outrun it. There was only one chance. He had to confront it or be consumed. Adam backed into a corner, holding the candlestick like a lifeline. The creature advanced slowly, savoring the fear it had cultivated. Its claws left deep gouges in the wooden floor, splinters embedding in Adam's shoes. He swung again, catching it across the shoulder. It hissed, a wet, gurgling sound, and lunged, knocking him to the ground. Pain shot through his leg as the creature pinned him down, its weight almost crushing. Its face hovered inches from his, molten eyes staring, teeth gnashing. Adam jabbed at its chest with the candlestick. The shard of metal dug into its dark flesh, and it screeched in pain, momentarily staggering. Adam seized the chance and rolled to his feet. The hallway seemed to twist, walls elongating and ceiling tilting. Every shadow became a weapon, reaching for him. He sprinted, adrenaline carrying him, as the creature recovered, faster now, faster than humanly possible. It swiped with a claw, grazing his arm, leaving a searing cut that burned with unnatural cold. He reached a window and tried to pry it open. The glass wouldn't budge. Behind him, the creature paused, tilting its head, as if studying its prey. Then, with inhuman speed, it vanished from the floor, reappearing directly in front of him. Adam barely had time to scream before it lunged. Adam slammed the candlestick down and grabbed a chair, swinging it as a shield. The creature roared, a mix of human and animal sounds, and lunged through the hallway, knocking over furniture with unnatural strength. Adam backed into a narrow alcove, but the creature's shadow spread across the walls like ink, reaching for him. He remembered the journal, names, rituals, warnings. Desperate, he whispered aloud, "I have no name to give." The creature froze for a fraction of a second, its eyes narrowing. That was enough for Adam to leap forward, barreling past it and diving through a door marked basement at the end of the hall. Inside, the basement was dark, filled with debris and water dripping from the ceiling. He stumbled over broken crates, splinters cutting his hands. The creature's roar echoed above him, pounding the stairs, rattling the house. Adam could hear it climbing down after him, slower this time, methodical, savoring the chase. He noticed a stack of old boards leaning against the wall and grabbed one like a spear. He held it in front of him, ready to strike. The creature appeared at the bottom of the stairs, its eyes glowing like molten fire. It hissed, circling him, claws tapping against the concrete floor. Adam swung the board with every ounce of strength. The creature hissed, staggered, and Adam realized that he might actually have a chance to fight back. For the first time since entering the house, Adam felt something he hadn't felt before: control. But he knew it was temporary. The creature would not stop. It had only one purpose: to consume him. Adam braced himself. The creature's eyes bore into him like molten lava. It hissed, lunging forward, and Adam thrust the board with all his might. The impact sent a shockwave through his arms. The creature stumbled but recovered immediately, claws scraping the concrete. He ran deeper into the basement, slipping in the water and debris, but the creature followed, relentless. It didn't just hunt with speed. It anticipated his every move, predicting his turns, his stops, his breath. Its growls echoed from every corner, as if the house itself had become a living trap. Suddenly, Adam tripped over a hidden staircase descending further into darkness. He fell hard, the board sliding from his hands. The creature appeared above him, towering, red eyes burning brighter than ever. Its claws slashed the wall inches from him, sending sparks from stone and wood. Desperation surged. Adam grabbed a jagged pipe from the ground. He jabbed, swung, and hammered with all his strength. The creature recoiled slightly, but its fury was unmatched. Its mouth opened impossibly wide, teeth gleaming like razors. Adam realized the house had trained it for this, feeding it decades of fear, pain, and blood. Then a scream split the basement. Adam's own voice, echoing and twisted, as the creature pressed closer. Shadows danced, forming faces of past victims in the flickering light. Adam's heart pounded, and he understood. The house didn't just want him alive. It wanted to break him entirely before consuming him. The chase had reached its crescendo. Blood, fear, and darkness converged. Adam had to survive, or number 27 would claim another soul, adding to its centuries of terror. Adam's lungs burned as he stumbled deeper into the basement. Water pooled around his feet, reflecting the flickering shadows of the creature. Its growls had shifted, closer now, almost whispering directly into his skull. He realized that the house was not just a building. It was a predator that used the creature as its instrument. Every creak, every shift of air, every flicker of light was a deliberate maneuver designed to trap him. He noticed a narrow corridor at the far end, partially blocked by old crates. Without thinking, Adam darted through it. The space seemed to close behind him, walls pressing in. A foul stench hit him. Decay, rust, and something far older, like the scent of every victim who had ever crossed the house's threshold. His hands scraped the walls as he ran, leaving streaks of blood where the creature had nicked him moments ago. Suddenly, he tripped over something soft. Looking down, he realized it was a human hand, pale and rigid, protruding from the water. Panic surged through him as he recognized the familiar rings and bracelets. Previous victims. The realization hit. He was not the first to be hunted, and he might not be the last. Behind him, the creature's hiss became louder, sharper. He could see the outline of its body emerging from the darkness. Tall, twisted, a nightmare-given form. Its head cocked slightly, tilting as it studied him like a predator admiring its prey. Adam's heart hammered. Every instinct screamed to run, but the basement twisted endlessly, a labyrinth designed by the house itself. He took a deep breath, steadied his trembling hands, and gripped a broken pipe. This was no longer about escape. It was about survival. He had to fight, or number 27 would claim another soul tonight. Adam raised the pipe, ready to strike. The creature approached silently, its molten eyes fixed, claws scraping along the concrete. It circled him like a shark, waiting for the right moment. Adam swung the pipe, connecting with its arm. The creature shrieked, a horrid sound that echoed and twisted the air around him. It lunged again. Adam dodged, rolling across puddles of water, but the creature's speed was supernatural. Its shadow stretched across the walls, forming grotesque shapes, hands that seemed to reach out of reality itself. Adam's mind raced. He remembered the journal's warnings about naming it, about the ritual of doors. Perhaps there was a way to trap it, to trick the house. His eyes caught a stack of old, rotting doors leaning against the wall. An idea struck him. He sprinted toward the pile, dragging a heavy door behind him. The creature lunged again, snapping its teeth inches from his face. Adam swung the door like a battering ram, hitting it directly. The impact sent the creature stumbling backward into a stack of crates, shattering them with a deafening crash. For a moment, the basement was silent, except for Adam's ragged breathing. The creature rose, furious, shaking the debris off. Adam knew this was temporary. The house had trained it for centuries. It would adapt and it would hunt him again. He grabbed another broken board and prepared for the next strike. Every muscle in his body screamed. He was not running anymore. He was fighting for life, fighting against a predator older than any memory, older than fear itself. Adam backed further into the corner of the basement, breathing heavily. The creature advanced, slower this time, but its eyes burned like molten coals, and its claws carved the concrete floor with each step. Adam realized the house itself was feeding it energy, drawing from fear, from his desperation. Every heartbeat of his fueled its rage. He remembered something from the journal, something about mirrors and reflections. Perhaps the house could be tricked, trapped through its own obsession with sight. Adam scanned the basement quickly and spotted a large, cracked mirror leaning against the wall. A plan formed in his mind. He dragged it into the center of the floor, angling it so that the creature would see its own reflection. The creature stopped, head tilting as it stared. It hissed, a shrill, piercing sound. Adam swung the pipe with all his might, smashing the mirror. Glass shattered, sending sharp fragments everywhere. The creature recoiled, howling in pain, blinded temporarily by its reflection. Adam took the opportunity and ran toward a narrow staircase at the far end, still carrying the pipe as a weapon. Behind him, he could hear the creature recovering, its fury returning even stronger. Adam knew that the house itself would not allow him to leave easily. Every door, every shadow, every corner was a potential trap. He had to reach the main exit or become just another part of number 27's gruesome history. Adam ran with desperate speed, ignoring the pain in his cuts, ignoring the splintered wood and water. The creature's growls echoed louder, shaking the very foundation of the house. He could feel it anticipating his every move, waiting to strike at the perfect moment. Adam reached a door leading to the front of the house, his heart hammering in his chest. The creature was relentless, climbing the basement stairs behind him. The house seemed alive, walls stretching, shadows shifting, trapping him within its labyrinthine corridors. He swung the broken pipe wildly as he ran, hoping to fend it off even momentarily. He could see the faint glow of moonlight spilling through the front windows. Freedom was close, but the house was not done. Doors slammed shut in the distance, windows rattled violently, and the floor beneath him seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The creature's shadow followed him relentlessly, growing larger with every step. Adam turned a corner, finding a narrow hallway lined with portraits of former residents. Their eyes seemed to track him, their faces twisted in silent screams. He realized the house had absorbed them, storing their fear and rage. The creature moved through the shadows, a blur of claws and teeth. Adam swung the pipe again, catching it on the shoulder. It screeched, blood spraying from a gash in its arm. He ran faster, ignoring the sting of his injuries. The front door was just ahead, but as he reached for the handle, the creature appeared directly behind him, its hot breath on his neck. It lunged, but Adam rolled, sliding through the door just in time. He slammed it shut, bolting it with all his might. Adam collapsed against the door, gasping. Outside, the moonlight felt like salvation. But he knew, deep in his bones, that number 27 was not finished. Its hunger would never be sated, and it would always be waiting. Adam leaned against the front door, trembling, covered in cuts and bruises. The moonlight bathed him in cold silver, and for the first time since entering number 27, he felt the air outside. The house was silent now, but Adam knew better than to trust the calm. The windows glimmered with shadows. The faintest creak might signal the creature's return. He looked back at the dark structure. Number 27 loomed like a monstrous silhouette, its windows' empty eyes staring back. The house had claimed many before him, and it would claim more. He felt the weight of the journal in his pocket, a reminder that knowledge was survival. He had learned the rituals, the doors, the cost of names. Adam limped toward the street, heart racing, every sound of the wind, every flicker of shadow keeping him alert. He knew that once a house like 27 had marked you, its hunger never left. Even if he survived tonight, its presence would haunt him forever. A sudden movement in the corner of his eye made him freeze. For a brief second, he swore he saw the creature's glowing eyes watching from an upstairs window. The house had let him go, for now. But its patience was infinite, and its hunger eternal. Adam reached the street, gulping fresh air. He had survived, but number 27 had left its mark. Not just on his body, but on his mind. He knew deep down that someday he would be forced to return. Days passed, but Adam could not shake the images from his mind. The house haunted his dreams, dark corridors twisting endlessly, the creature's glowing eyes staring at him from every corner. He woke in cold sweats, hands trembling, expecting to see the figure lurking in the shadows of his room. He avoided going near anything resembling a door, afraid of triggering a ritual he didn't fully understand. The journal lay open on his desk, pages marked with blood and notes about doors, names, and rituals. Adam realized that number 27 was more than a physical place. It was a living entity, feeding off fear, rage, and death. Each victim strengthened it, and each scream was like fuel to its hunger. Despite his trauma, Adam felt a grim resolve forming. He had survived the house once, and perhaps he could survive it again. He began researching, marking patterns, trying to understand its cycles, its weaknesses. The journal had given him clues, but nothing guaranteed safety. Every creak of a floorboard, every flicker of shadow, sent shivers down his spine. One night, he saw the creature in a dream, its claws reaching out, dragging him back into the darkness of number 27. He awoke with a start, realizing it was not just a nightmare. Its presence lingered in the real world, and the house was patient. Could wait. It always waited. Adam knew he had to prepare. The house was eternal, the creature relentless, and its hunger infinite. The next encounter would not be a chase. It would be a fight for life, for soul, for sanity itself. Weeks turned into months. Adam had fortified his apartment with wards and symbols from the journal, creating barriers he hoped could delay number 27. He barely slept, barely ate, consumed by the obsession of staying alive and understanding the creature's patterns. Every shadow was suspect, every creak a potential ambush. One stormy night, the power went out. Adam's heart raced. Lightning illuminated the dark corners of his apartment, and for a fleeting moment, He saw the creature's glowing eyes staring through his window. It had found him. Panic surged, but he forced himself to recall the ritual described in the journal. Words were whispered, symbols drawn in haste on the floor. The creature pressed closer, hissing, claws scraping the walls. Adam held his ground, chanting the words, focusing every ounce of fear into defiance. The creature shrieked and recoiled as the wards flared with an unnatural light. For a brief moment, it seemed to vanish, leaving the apartment silent except for the storm outside. Adam collapsed, exhausted but alive. He knew it was only temporary. Number 27 never forgot, never forgave. But he had learned that preparation, knowledge, and courage could stave off the inevitable, if only for a while. The creature's hunger was infinite, but Adam's resolve was growing, sharpened by the fear that had once almost consumed him entirely. Outside, the storm raged, lightning striking like the claws of the house reaching through reality. Adam's battle had become more than survival. It was war, a war of mind, body, and soul against an ancient predator that thrived on terror itself. Adam began documenting everything meticulously. Each encounter, each sighting, each subtle change in shadows or temperature was recorded. He understood that knowledge could be his only weapon against number 27. The house adapted constantly, learning from fear and panic, but he hoped that careful observation could reveal patterns, weaknesses, openings. One evening, as he examined a corner of his apartment, a strange vibration ran through the floorboards. His pulse quickened. He glimpsed movement at the edge of his vision. Claws scraping against the walls, a low hiss echoing. The creature was probing, testing his defenses. Adam's hands shook, but he stood firm, drawing more symbols, whispering chants to fortify the wards. The creature pressed forward, its eyes glowing brighter, filling the room with a sense of suffocating heat. It lunged, striking the floor with claws, creating splinters that flew like shards of glass. Adam reacted instinctively, swinging the heaviest board he could find. The impact sent the creature staggering back, screeching in pain, but it quickly recovered, its rage intensifying. Adam realized that number 27 was not merely a place. It was sentient, feeding on terror, constantly testing its prey, learning, evolving. He had survived longer than most, but the house's patience was infinite. Its hunt was never-ending, and the creature's hunger had only grown sharper since his first encounter. Adam braced himself. Every strike, every symbol, every whispered word mattered. He understood now that survival was a battle of endurance, intelligence, and courage. A constant war against an ancient entity that thrived on fear, pain, and death. Adam's life became a series of routines and precautions. He avoided nightfall, reinforced windows, and set alarms. But the house was patient. One evening, as lightning split the sky, Adam noticed a shadow flicker in the corner. His stomach dropped. The creature had returned, testing his limits. It emerged silently from the darkness, its claws leaving grooves in the floor. Its eyes glowed hotter, burning through the faint light. Adam raised his pipe, ready to strike, but the creature moved with inhuman grace, almost anticipating his actions. He swung, missed, and felt the cold scratch of its claw across his shoulder. Pain surged, but he didn't falter. Adam chanted faster, drawing protective symbols. The creature screeched, reared, and slammed its claws into the wall, splintering wood and concrete. The room vibrated with its rage, dust and debris falling from the ceiling. He realized the house itself was angry, its creation, its predator, being challenged by a human. In that instant, Adam felt something unexpected: clarity. He understood the house's obsession with doors, thresholds, and fear. Each opening was a portal, each shadow a reflection of terror. With precision, he manipulated the wards, creating a temporary barrier between him and the creature. It recoiled, hissing, its molten eyes burning with frustration. Adam knew he could not rest. Number 27 would wait, always, and its hunger would never cease. But he also knew he had learned, adapted, and survived. The fight was far from over, but he was no longer defenseless. The creature may have strength, but Adam had cunning, preparation, and the will to survive. The final night arrived. Adam stood before the front door of number 27, heart pounding, rain lashing against the windows. He had fortified the barriers, prepared the wards, and memorized every ritual in the journal. Tonight, he would face the creature one last time. The door creaked open, and the house seemed to exhale. Shadows lengthened, twisting like serpents. The creature emerged, taller, angrier, molten eyes burning with centuries of hunger. Adam raised his weapons, heart racing, mind sharp. The fight was inevitable. Steel met claw with splintered, and the creature shrieked in rage. Adam moved with precision, striking weak points, chanting protective spells, forcing the creature backward. Every step, every strike was calculated. The creature's strength was immense, but Adam's cunning kept him alive. Lightning illuminated the basement as the creature lunged again, its molten gaze piercing through Adam's soul. He struck the final blow, a perfectly aimed pipe through its chest. The creature let out a deafening howl, staggering backward, then vanished into the shadows. The house trembled, as if mourning its lost predator, but the wards held. Adam collapsed, soaked, exhausted, and victorious. Number 27 remained, looming ominously, but its terror had been challenged. He knew the house would never forget him, but he had survived. For now, the creature was banished, the house contained, and Adam had proven that even ancient terror could be resisted. The legend of number 27 continued, but a survivor walked free, bearing the scars and the knowledge of the house's eternal hunger. Adam had faced the nightmare and lived,